This is a precipitation aspect of the seasonal forecast from December 2015 to August 2016. In this forecast, we need to focus on the left panel first. This is the historical precipitation for the region over the last 30 years. As you see, in mainland Southeast Asia, December is a traditionally dry month. When we look at the anomaly of precipitation against that long-term normal, we see that there are only 1 or 2, maybe 3 millimeters of additional precipitation expected in December from a very, very dry base. Overall, December will be a very dry month in mainland Southeast Asia. Let's look at January. In January, the dryness traditionally continues in mainland Southeast Asia, and again, there's very little additional anomaly of precipitation, less than 10 millimeters on top of a very, very low base, and that's the potential maximum additional 10 millimeters. So again, virtually nothing or very little rainfall expected in mainland Southeast Asia in January. For February, a little more rainfall traditionally in mainland Southeast Asia, but not all. Obviously in Burma or Myanmar, quite a bit of dryness there, and also in Cambodia and southern Vietnam. Again, we're looking at less than 10 millimeters through this region, and at most 20 in this area, and a little wetter in the north and along the South China Sea seaboard here in Vietnam. But if we look at the anomalies for the month of February, we're now into negative territory. So we're having less than what we would expect in February. So if there's only 10 millimeters expected, we're looking at taking 10 millimeters off of that, and in some cases more than that in some areas. So February is looking again like a very dry month. In March, again, precipitation tends historically to increase slightly in mainland Southeast Asia. It's still a relatively dry month, and again we're looking at less than a reduction of 25 to 30 millimeters of precipitation over that month. So again, March is looking like a very, very dry month. In April, again the rains tend to increase a little bit in mainland Southeast Asia, but the dryness persists, with again more areas of minus 25 up to minus 50 millimeters of precipitation, which again isn't going to eliminate much of the precipitation that is expected in April. So we can expect April to be a very dry month. In May, again, the rains tend to improve in mainland Southeast Asia traditionally, historically, over a 30-year average. This is what we would expect. But we're looking at a very dry May as well, with again the anomalies between 50 and 75 millimeters, and in some areas greater than 75 millimeters. So quite a dry month of May is also expected. In June, again this tends to be a wetter month in mainland Southeast Asia, early onset of monsoonal conditions typically, and we're looking at a very uneven situation in mainland Southeast Asia in June in terms of the seasonal forecast. Again, great dryness here forecast for Myanmar and Thailand, and quite a bit of unevenness here in the rest of mainland Southeast Asia, but certainly not a wet period in June. July, again, typically a wet month in mainland Southeast Asia, but look at the forecast for, again, Myanmar and part of Thailand. Quite a dry month again in July, and even here in eastern Thailand, part of Cambodia and Laos. Again, very uneven onset of the monsoon season. August, the final month of the 9-month forecast. Again, typically, historically, rather wet month in mainland Southeast Asia, but again, rather uneven in its forecast onset in Southeast Asia, with again dryness in Myanmar and western Thailand, I should say, and unevenness in the rest of mainland Southeast Asia. Check back often on these forecasts. We update these every 10 days, so we will reissue and post again. Thank you.